What's up, everyone? Welcome to another video. Today I wanted to talk about Agenda 21 in 2030. Okay, so if you're new to this channel, if you haven't seen my other videos, you should go check out my earlier video from a long time ago where I talked about Agenda 21, also known as the Great Reset, which is coming in 2030. And if you don't know a lot about the subject of the Great Reset, I recommend going back. Uh, there was a speech that was made in 2020 by the World Economic Forum where all the major leaders, got together and they discussed the Great Reset in 2030, how there's going to be smart cities, you'll own nothing and be happy. Okay. Now, on the other side of the Great Reset, when we go into Agenda 21, the Great Reset in 2030, what's more than likely going to be the case is the Armageddon, the end times. Okay. It's actually, as I've said in my other videos, it's going to probably be a Hunger Games like in the movies, and it's going to be between vegans versus carnivores. All right. This is what I talked about, and I went into depth and detail on why I think that that's the case. And one of the insights that I got a while ago from a mushroom experience that I had was that when we go into Agenda 21 in 2030, if we go into a scenario like that, it's not going to be right away. Okay, so you're not going to just jump right into a Hunger Games scenario, in 2030. What's probably going to happen, based on a mushroom experience I had a while ago and based on these downloads that I got, what's probably going to end up happening is you're probably going to be going to mandatory schooling, okay, for about 2 to 3 years, and you're going to learn a bunch of occult knowledge, okay? They're going to basically lift the veil and they're going to reveal themselves to the population, and you're probably going to have to go to school just like when you were a kid, unfortunately. And you're probably going to have to do homework even as an adult. You're going to be sitting in desks. You're probably going to be raising your hand just like a child. I mean, this is actually karma from, sending our children to school against their will. And that's, as I've talked about in a previous video, that's the immoral thing to do. You're technically taking away your child's freedoms when you're doing that. So as karma, as punishment, we're all going to have mandatory schooling to be so-called re-educated. That's what they call it, when our minds are basically going to be deprogrammed, and we're going to learn a bunch of occult knowledge that's been taught in the mystery schools, okay, for a long time, for thousands of years, and it's all going to be revealed, and we're going to learn nature of reality. We're going to learn about real truths, probably the manipulation. And it says in the Bible that there's like a period of, I think, 2.5 or 3 years of what does it say? There's like, it talks about the Armageddon, the end times, and how there's like a 2.5 year period of tribulation. Okay, and if that's the case, then I would guess that when we go into Agenda 21 in 2030, we're probably going to have 2.5 to 3 years of schooling before we go into the end times Armageddon scenario, all right, before we go into a Hunger Games scenario. So this is something to keep in mind. Our future doesn't look too bright, unfortunately. And as I've talked about in previous video, it's all karma that we create collectively. Unfortunately, even if you're a good person yourself, even if you're doing the right thing, if most people around you are not, then you're still, then collectively the population will still reap the karma that they collectively, for the most part, created. And that's why it's our responsibility to wake people up. If you know what's going on, try to inform them of truths and stuff like that. So I basically wanted to make this video just to say that if we go into the Great Reset, Agenda 21, which was announced in 2020 for 2030, you're probably going to do some schooling, and you're probably going to learn a lot of occult knowledge, and you're probably going to, have time to learn how to fight, practice martial arts, if we're going into a Hunger Games scenario, just like the movies, it's probably going to be a period where you learn and where you're educated on the nature of reality. You're educated on just a lot of things that those in power have kept hidden from us. They're finally going to reveal their secrets, and it's going to be leading into uh, the Hunger Games later on. Okay, so um, once again, the whole Hunger Games scenario, end times, it's conjecture, but based on that mushroom experience I had, it felt pretty real. And when you actually truly think things through, it actually makes sense that a vegans versus carnivores Hunger Games will be the Armageddon scenario. And I'll break it down even further in later videos. So I just wanted to tell everybody that, it's really important that you start waking people up. You start getting on the side of truth, because if you don't, we're headed for a very bad situation for not just you, but your family, your kids, and, all your loved ones. So it's just something to keep in mind. And with that being said, I hope everyone's having a good day. Life can be really tough sometimes. It can be very up and down, but just grin and bear it, get through it, keep moving forward, keep putting one foot in front of the other, and things will eventually get better. So, yeah, that's about all I wanted to say. Take it easy. Have a good day.